Alright, in this video, I'll be introducing you to the brute force attack, which Brutus can also do. Now, in a dictionary attack, you fed the program a list of passwords that it used against the usernames. But a brute force attack, you tell the program what type of password it is. Maybe is it alphanumerical, is it just numbers, and how long is the password? Is it 6 characters long, is it 8? And what Brutus does is it generates a list of all the possible combinations of passwords with those features, as in is it alphanumerical or all just numbers, and basically it takes that and generates all the possible combinations and it runs it against that password. So this is a much larger file than a dictionary tag. So the dictionary tag is if you have an idea of what the password might be, or it's just a shorter attack if you don't have time to do a brute force attack. If you just want to see if it's vulnerable to a weak password, as a brute force attack, it just pretty much takes all the possible combinations and runs it against a username or a set of usernames. For this reason, a brute force attacks take up a lot more time and resources. So brute force attacks are usually run from multiple computers, where the attack is distributed amongst multiple processors, so it can complete it in a shorter amount of time. Which is called clusters of computers. But in our case, we'll just be using Brutus with just my computer for an example. Alright, so target, same one, my home computer. Type of attack, we'll still be running it against the FTP server. Port 21 connections, we can crank that up just a bit. Alright, now I know my username, so I'll be using a single user, and the username is admin. Now if you don't know the username of an FTP server, you can just run it against a file full of usernames. But this is a brute force attack, so it'll take quite a while to run just with one username, so I recommend finding out what the username is first before you attempt to run a brute force attack. And pass mode, we'll go ahead and use brute force attack. And range, now here's what I was talking about, the options, like what kind of password it is. I'll be going with lowercase alpha. Minimum length, let's go with 8. That's how long the password actually is. But if you don't know, then it's recommended that you go with alphanumerical and maybe a little bit longer password, or you can even make your own custom range. But click OK, and when we click start, first Brutus will generate all the passwords, all the possible passwords combinations to run against the username. So as I click start, engaging target, and it's begun. It's a little cut off, but nothing I can do about that. It's doing 47, 48, 49 attempts per second. Estimated 1 centuries remaining. As I said, it's a big big difference between a dictionary attack and a brute force attack. Here it shows you that a brute force will generate, I can't even read what that number is at the top of my head. Whew. But that's a lot of passwords. Maximum number, I think it should actually be, let me see, 217 billion 180 million 147,159. Wow. So 1 century, if you don't have that kind of time, I would recommend running it from a computer cluster, where you can distribute the workload amongst a bunch of processors and cut the time in half. That's why these kind of attacks, are good to run with a good processing power. But I'm gonna go ahead and pause it and stop it, because there's no point of running this through. Look at that. Now let's look at the FTP server and what was going on when the Brutus password cracker was being run against the FTP server. So here I have my FTP server, and the graph showing all the data being sent to and from the server. And as you can see here, in a short period of time, the activity on the FTP server went up a lot for a short period of time, and then went back down when I stopped the cracker. Now, if I go to the log, here you'll see the FTP log and what was going on in that short period of time. And as you can see, it was trying the user admin and going through a bunch of passwords. And as you can see, at first it asks password required for admin, and then I guess the password and permission denied, permission denied, permission denied. Basically, those were all the passwords being attempted against the server, and they were wrong. So permission was denied, and it was asking for this password again. And here's a little list of the log. Basically, just a bunch of denies because the password was wrong. So that's the FTP server and what it looks like in the background. So one more option I forgot to mention was the combo password list. So if you know let's say you're running it against a router per se, and you know that most of the default password and username combinations that are for the router, you know them, so you might put them in that list. So I'll show you an example of what the list looks like. But first, the password must be set to combo list, and it automatically adds the file, or you can browse for it and find it. But basically, this is what a combo list file looks like. As you can see here, it takes admin with a blank password, admin, admin, admin password, admin with a password, admin1. Basically, it takes the most popular username and password combinations and puts them together. And you can look up the default password and username and password combinations for the system you're trying to crack. There's a bunch of lists online. So let's say like the router example, you can look up your router name and the default password and just put that into the put all of them into a file and just run that file. So that's the combo option.